Welcome back, folks, to another episode of The Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie, where in the last episode we'd completed Chapter 2 with pretty much everybody. So now we're in Chapter 3, well, Act 3, whatever. And we're going to jump right into Rufus' route, because that's actually what it forces us to do. Not much we can do otherwise when it forces us to jump right in. We learned a lot, though. As in C is Rufus, but I knew that from the start of the game, just because of his voice. And, so now we're wondering, how is there... I'm gonna say two Rufuses, because he already said he is not the one on Crossbell, so... How? Ninevall. Why are we on a Ninevall ship? She's helping us? Cool. Okay.
You were quite punctual.
You bet.
Jingo's helping Rufus.
Sup, and welcome aboard the Argo, the vessel of Nine Valley's new high-speed transport service.
Nine Valleys. Oops.
Our pilot is a child.
We might have been better off on the ground.
I'll have you know that I'm a licensed pilot. And that's real rich coming from you guys. You look like a bunch of kids about to go on a picnic with their daddy to me.
Ooh,
Boom!
we got burned.
But boy, did I not see your daddy's ID coming. Who knew my mystery client would turn out to be our former Governor General, Rufus Alborea? Oops. What, do you prefer Supreme Leader now?
Also, he got a haircut. He used to have way longer hair.
Please, if I knew I'd be repeating myself so soon, I would have gathered my audience. That title is not mine.
But then...
I'm confused. Who's Rufus?
The one in front of you. That guy. Rufus Alborea. Former Governor General. To House and he's also, one of the heirs to House Alborea.
That's this guy's real name. C was a nickname, so it's Rufus, huh? I think it's much cuter than C.
Right?
I give it 85 points.
Way better.
Ooh, he kicked your butt, S.
Why would I care when I don't even get what criteria she's basing these on?
It's just what she prefers.
So are you famous then, Rufus? Everyone seems to know who you are.
Famous is putting it lightly.
He's not just famous, he's super famous. He's the elder son of House Alborea, one of the 4 great houses of Erebonia, and he became Crossbell's first Governor General. Together with the Empire's Chancellor and Crown Prince, he led the country to all-out war. But then he got arrested after it ended. That's all the big common knowledge stuff, but trust me, I know all about the skeletons in his closet.
Do you?
Wow, you're so smart, Nadia.
Is knowing part of handling the unpleasant side of things?
Wow, you're so smart, Rufus.
Can she try not to stir up trouble with him?
I think she's just, playing that kind of younger sibling kind of bitchiness, kind of. I don't know really how to put it. But just trying to be playfully bitchy, I guess? Yeah, well, he's apparently not done making a name for himself. Because 3 days ago, he busted himself out of jail so he could lead a load of black-clad soldiers into Crossbell and occupy it again. Then he declared himself the new Supreme Leader and claimed he was carrying on the late Chancellor Osborne's will. And you're saying that wasn't you? Yeah, hang on. You were in Crossbell yesterday and at noon today making statements. How'd you have time to go to Heimdall? He couldn't have been at this Crossbell like you said. He's been with us the entirety of today and yesterday. Then that means... So there are 2 Rufus Alboreas, or more like, one of you's a fraud. So it seems, I've no interest in making a public show of him being one, mind you, but I am the genuine Rufus Alborea. On that you have my word. I guess I believe you, even if Crossbell mistakes the other guy for the real deal, you'd, or your brother'd be able to tell the difference. Probably. Can't say I even care. I'm just in it for the Mira. Speaking of, I thought the Erebonian government seized all your assets. How are you going to pay for the fare? I've long kept my assets spread out in the event something like this were to happen. What the government seized is a mere fraction of what I own. You really do prepare for anything, huh? Phew, I was worried we were duped into doing charity work for a sec. Well, we've come this far. I think it's about time you started filling in the blanks. About what exactly? You. We don't plan to call things off just because we know who you are now, but you've got to admit that you're not an average guy, and that means being around you is a huge risk on our part. I think you owe us a more thorough explanation on what you were up to before we met and what you're after now. It's the least you could do if we're going to keep working together. You're getting paid. You don't really deserve any information, if I'm going to be honest with you. Very well. I'd intended to do as much from the very beginning anyway. You'll have to understand the full scale of our situation before we advance to the next stage. I'm curious to what this is about too. Rufus's tone remained flat as he recounted recent events. It began late at night on March 14th, when Arocus Fort? I think so. In the Karuzin province fell under attack. This was the work of the Ebon Defense Force, who were there to aid the Crossbill Division of the Imperial Defense Force in their escape. Upon freeing the IDF from their underground cells, they continued on to another cell in that same fort, Rufus Albarea's. Yet, their aim was not to free their former leader, but to assassinate him. Rufus deftly turned the tables against them while also managing to extract a wealth of information, even if their knowledge lacked the finer details. He learned that they had abducted Prince Olivert and would be executing a major operation in less than 24 hours. He also learned of a small suitcase that the EDF wished to find with great urgency. Sensing trouble brewing in the wake of Crossbell's liberation, Rufus then resolved to escape to better assess the situation at hand. The next day, March 15th, was no less eventful. An imposter using Rufus's name and his face as his own stormed Crossbell's signing ceremony and declared it occupied once more. This information, paired with intelligence gathered to suggest further trouble brewing in Heimdall, helped the real Rufus ascertain his next objective. He issued a statement claiming to be the Princess Abductor to Lore Class 7 to the Imperial capital. And following that, he set his sights on Arocus Canyon to take this enigmatic case the EDF were so desperately seeking. And now they have the case. With the doll. You know the rest, of course. Wow. You've been a busy boy, huh? Well, I'd been cooped up in a cell for half a year. I had plenty of pent-up energy eager to be spent. To continue, it's clear that the actions of the EDF and my superior's self were planned to the letter. I imagine a multitude of events these past months have been part of their grand scheme, not just the recent attack on the city. The post-war occupation, the occupiers electing to ignore my calls to surrender, and even the city's liberation a month ago. If this fake Rufus is pulling the strings here, you being around's only gonna be one big headache for him. You think it's possible you being locked up in the same place as the IDF was intentional? I would assume so. Everything about it, down to my assassination attempt. And that in itself was just a small part of something much greater. Then what are you planning to do about it? You sound like you get a pretty good idea of what you're up against. So what does the real Rufus want? Peace? Probably. No more war. Let Crossbell go to how it was. Have his name reclaimed. There's a whole list of things I could think of. I have two goals. The first is to eliminate the imposter who seeks to use my name for ill. Makes sense if it means them being around equals people trying to kill you. The second is to settle a past debt. Helping cause a war? Oh? Crossbell's current status traces its origins to the war that ended not long ago. I, the primary member of the Ironbloods, was one of two who led the charge in that war, the other being the very man whom I revered as a father, the late Chancellor. Having made this mess, it falls to me to clean it up. The Ironbloods are an awful loyal bunch. I also feel a certain degree of responsibility toward Crossbell as its former Governor General. Because you didn't really treat the city bad, overall. You just were ruling a city that didn't really want to be ruled. Let me see if I've got my head around this. In short, you want to rectify Crossbell's situation and fix whatever's going on in Erebonia. Let's sum it up, right? That would be the end result, yes. You know, that's a lot to expect for people to pull off. Thus, why I never specified it being us to achieve the end of ourselves. Sorry. There's no reason it has to be us who faces our enemies. Confronting evil and overcoming it with heart and willpower is best suited to heroes, not villains like myself. Like Green and his friends, whom we fought earlier, and their triple S counterparts in Crossbow. No need to imitate what they have perfected. Works for me, doesn't feel like our style. What we can do is learn the truth behind these myriad occurrences in our own way. And we could start with the very valuable clue we have in our possession. What is it? Why are you staring at me? You're just so cute that we can't help ourselves. Really? I see. That makes perfect sense. To be admired is the destiny of a masterpiece. Gaze upon me to your heart's content. It's hard for me to picture a doll being the key to unraveling all that's going on. It's weird, yeah? And her not remembering anything makes it that much harder. Got any plans for tackling that one, boss? I just so happen to have a question for you two regarding that very issue. Excuse me. Jorg Rosenberg was the manufacturer and the man who requested that she be delivered to me. Well, technically, yeah. Now that our work in Heimdall is done, I was hoping to visit him in person, but your hesitant response tells me that may not be possible. Has something befallen him? Nope, he's fine. It's just not much would be gained by going to see him. He's the one who gave us the job, but he specified that he was just an intermediary. My guess is that whoever had him give us the job is also the one who got him to take her. Mainly because he doesn't seem to know much more than we do right now. I see. Then our only choice is to aid her in recovering her memories after all. I assume you don't know where you were originally crafted? I wish I did, but I'm afraid not. I've got a place we could start at least. Jorg didn't directly deliver the case to us. He said to pick it up from the Moon Temple. He must have hidden it there before hightailing it at a crossbow. Now that explains probably the flashback, somewhat. It'd be a safe bet to say she was made there, or close to there. Almost certainly the Rosenberg studio on the Maine's mountain path then. Sounds about right. We passed it on the way to the temple, but didn't go inside. A wise decision. If the Meister hid the case elsewhere, then the studio has been compromised in some manner, I'm sure. We still do not know if her memory loss was unintended or deliberate, but danger or no, it's possible that we will find something to ease her current predicament. So we know where we're going then. Of course. Fuck, I'm not reading before I actually read out loud. Our course was always going to lead to Crossbell. The timing is apt, we may as well go now. But how are we gonna get in when the borders are so well protected? Fear not, for I have a plan. Though it will require some preparation, I'll need your participation in order for it to work, but the details can wait. For now, rest well, children. As astute as ever. Light in the dark. I was getting so sleepy while they talked, but I feel wide awake now. Perhaps I'll tour the ship and see what everyone is up to. I mean, I suppose we could do that. But I am going to take a quick pause for a second. Alright, we're back. Sorry about the little pause. I just wanted to read ahead on the guide, see what we're up against here. There's really not much to this ship. It's mostly just going to be a lot of reading. Hey, Lapis. Is she asleep? Sure is. That's a shame. I wanted to play with her. Sorry to disappoint, but let her rest, okay? She always wants to sleep, so today's been a long, rough one for her. You know, fair. It was a pretty long day with multiple fights and bosses and beasts and just, yeah. Does she normally sleep a lot? That's an understatement. She spends most of our days off out like a light. She even falls asleep in the middle of combat. Has she ever been to a doctor to fix it? Oh no, she's not sick, just very laid back. It makes life a real pain sometimes though, let me tell you. I'm sure it does. Yeah, but it's got a charm. But she's my partner, and there's no one else I'd rather depend on when it counts. Besides, I swore to protect her in her brother's place. I intend to honor that for the rest of my life. And you... Oh, are you and her brother different or the same? I'm finding it hard to wrap my mind around the idea of siblings. Let me put it like this. How would you feel if Jorg Rosenberg were to make another doll exactly like you? If they were exactly like me, then they would be perfect. The world being blessed with more perfect things to admire is a good thing. Well, what if that other doll wasn't as cute, pretty, strong, or emotive as you are? What if the others called him a failure? There isn't any such thing as a Rosenberg that's also a failure, but if by some chance that were to happen, I'd be very annoyed to hear others speaking of them that way. There you go then. That's how siblings are. Do you think Rufus would be annoyed if he heard something like that about his brother? That's who that boy we saw before is, right? Beats me. I don't know the first thing about what goes on in that guy's head, so it's a mystery. Yeah. Anyway, you should try and get some rest while we have the chance, assuming dolls need rest anyway. Okay, thank you, Swin. Oh, that was just them two sitting there. I thought that was like a little icon to do something.
I wonder what it's like to have a sibling. Do I have any out there?
You very easily could, my dear. Very easily could. Well, if it isn't my littlest customer, you want something? I just felt the urge to tour the ship. And you're hardly big. Kinda rude. Haha! I'm still bigger than you, and come to think of it, I haven't introduced myself to you yet, now have I? The name's Jingo. If there's anything you want your hands on, you just give me a holler. I'm Lapis. Nice to meet you, Lapis. By the way, you're not human, right? Indeed I am not. I'm a proud Rosenberg doll. Really? The world's full of surprises. You don't look surprised to me. Well, you're in my line of work. You meet when you're in my line of work. Sorry, you meet all kinds of folks. You're not the first unusual customer I've had. Okay, yep. That extra "the" shouldn't be there. That's just one of them little translation blips, you know. But, you know, happens every once in a while in these games. Excuse me. I'm not. Your job sounds very interesting. You know what else would be interesting? Mods. Can I entrust you in a... Entrust? My god. Still trying to recover from that cough, though. Could I interest you in a Gatling gun for an arm? Or eyes that'll let you shoot lasers out of them? I'll give you a pretty discount. You could do all of that? It'd be worth a shot. I agree that it would be interesting, but none of it sounds as beautiful as my current design, so we'll kindly pass. No big. If you change your mind, you know where I am. I certainly do. Anyway, it's about time for Cerberus lessons. Cerberus! We're gonna teach a dog how to fly? What's this lesson about? Being the strongest guard dog around. So not flight, alright. Well, now I've got to know, what does that take? So far, I've had him help with the cleaning and run my shop, but today he's getting pointers on flying this baby. He's got to be able to navigate anything life throws at him, and that includes a steering wheel. We are teaching him how to fly. Okay then, first I need you to plop yourself on the top of my seat. Wait, is this gonna work? I guess as long as your front paws can reach the wheel, it's all good. You can do this, Cerberus, good boy. Hang on a minute. I wasn't going to butt it at first, but I can't keep my mouth shut after what I just heard. Oh yeah, what's that? Maybe the whole deal of trying to teach your dog to fly this airship? Still not hearing where the problem is. How's he supposed to learn if he doesn't take the wheel? All of that is a problem. You're trying to make a dog transcend the limits of the canine species. Come on, now you're just exaggerating. But you're welcome to tune in on his lesson if you want. What part of what I said makes you think? Yeah, I just had a dream where the whole airship fell out of the sky. Where are you, S? Comfort me. Anyway, we're paying for this flight, so if you want to attempt the impossible, do it on your own time. We'd like to live for the landing, if you please. Oh, fine, you're one tough customer. Oh, poor Cerberus.
Cerberus is so cute.
You're fucking right. It wasn't even allowed to fly.
I hope I can pet him later on.
I'm just gonna do a little save, just in case here. And I'm sure you'll get to pet him at some point.
I'm afraid this side of the deck is occupied. You'll have to sleep elsewhere.
Oh? You're not looking for company?
I wasn't planning to sleep out here.
Oh? Then what's brought you outside?
It would be awful cold to sleep out here.
I wanted to go stargazing. What about you?
I wanted to take in the night air.
See, that makes sense.
Since we're both here, there's something I'd like to ask.
What is it?
I know that you're a famous man, but are you a good man? or a bad man?
If you want to get right down to brass tacks, he's kind of neither. Because he's done a lot of good, but he's done a lot of bad. He's kind of like an anti-hero, really. He kind of just does what he wants at times, but he's loyal to a fault. And he does love his family. And he's never actually tried to kill anybody important to him, even though he's definitely attacked us.
Bad, though that would be putting it mildly.
So very bad?
Very, very bad. I have used anything and everything to advance my interests, be it titles, fame, or even those pure of heart. There is little point in feigning a moral compass when human lives hold no value to me, or acting chivalrous when all that does is hinder me.
See, I feel like you're just kind of putting on a face.
Do you still feel that way?
I do. I'm using you, Swin and Nadia, to bring my designs to fruition, am I not? I'm also using those we met in the capital, like my brother.
I mean, you're not completely wrong, I guess.
None of that sounds like something someone good would do, yes. You really are a very bad man.
I'm glad we could come to an understanding.
He's kind of not, though, but he kind of is, but he's kind of not.
So, armed with that knowledge, what do you intend to do?
Am I supposed to do something?
I suppose a doll has no reason to care if a human is good or evil.
Being a doll has nothing to do with it. But were you hoping I would admonish you? Or perhaps comfort you?
Oh.
Of course not.
Yes.
Okay, then I still intend to do nothing. Whether I praise you for your deeds as a hero, or chastise you for your misdeeds as a villain, it won't change you at your core.
See what I mean? He's done
You
both.
are who you are.
He's done both.
Just how does humanity look through your lens for you to think in such simple terms?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I can't answer that when I'm still learning about what it means to be human. All I can say is, I don't see if you're good or bad, where you're from, or how you were raised. I don't see what you've done or haven't done, what you possess or what you lack, because none of those are what make you exist as a person.
Oh.
So it can't be that you suddenly don't exist just because someone decides to reject those parts of you.
That's quite a philosophical approach to the matter. Or perhaps that objective thinking is the most one of artificial intelligence can fathom.
I don't know. How could I know? Just to me, being is what makes a human a human.
Perhaps you're right.
And so, it's what makes you, you.
Perhaps you're right.
You what?
I don't remember the exact moment I began to search for meaning in my life.
Oh.
My father elected to raise me as his own son, irrespective of the fact I was born because his wife laid with another man.
Forgot about that. I did forget about that. That he is not his father's son. He's not technically an Albarea.
He did so with the same ease he rejected his flesh and blood because he was born from a common woman.
So yeah, kind of forgot he didn't care for his own son, cared more for the son he didn't actually conceive, but...
When I learned the truth, I finally understood that House Albarea wanted me not as a human being, but as a product of noble blood. It was so hard to bear that it made me sick. Was that all? Was that the only reason I existed? I refused to accept it. I couldn't take it. And as I turned my eyes from this terrible truth, a new, more terrible thought dawned upon me. If that was not the reason I existed, then what was? That was when I met him.
Oh, Chancellor Osborne.
It is said we seek that which we do not have. Through him, I sought the father I never had. I convinced myself that if I did as sons do and became more than he ever was, then I would understand the real reason for my existence. And there it was. At last, I had a goal, something to pursue. I stopped at nothing to make that goal a reality. There was no effort too ambitious, no principle too sacred to violate.
Damn.
But no matter what I did,
You couldn't find
it
it.
still wasn't enough. Everything I had done to secure my victory had led to a resounding, humiliating defeat. A defeat at the hands of my own brother, who, despite his unfortunate upbringing, had grown into someone strong and true.
And much better than he was in the first game. I hated him in the first game.
I envied him for that. But perhaps I should have known all along that a mere product could never hope to have a real, genuine purpose. The whole predicament would have been worth a laugh had it not been so deeply painful. Why am I here? What is my reason for being? Who am I?
And this doll kind of just,
You are who you are.
yeah, hits you with some shit.
I don't see what you've done or haven't done, what you possess or what you lack,
This might free him.
because none of those are what make you exist as a person. Just to me, being is what makes a human a human.
Such nonsense. I thought you weren't planning to sleep out here. I'm unsure if dolls are capable of catching colds, but I believe you've taken in the stars enough for one night.
And you're still such a caring dude! Oh, Rufus Alberea. Your character development is beautiful at times. It truly, truly is beautiful at times. I'm so happy with that, I can't even explain. March 19th. Excuse me. Are you all prepared? Ready to go anytime. We're good at this stuff. I don't know what we're preparing for, but I'll give it my best. Our interests will be best served if you say nothing at all. Okay then, I'm gonna make a landing. Well, we're not landing at the airport. Obviously, we'll be landing on a fucking by road, right? Alright. Well, they see my airship, so maybe. No, that's not my airship. Sorry, that's way bigger. No, that is the Nine Valley! Halt! Are you authorized to be here? Well, I just look like fucking Rufus Alberea, don't I? Your Excellency? What is the meaning of this? You stand in the presence of our supreme leader. We informed you in advance of our arrival. Why were you not ready and waiting? Our deepest apologies. There's no need to be quite so harsh. These are good men. This airport has only been under their jurisdiction for a few days. It takes time to adjust to new responsibilities. You are merciful, Your Excellency. We'll ready a car for you at once. No need, I've arranged for one personally, so remain here and continue your duties. Yes, Your Excellency. Well, that's slick as fuck, isn't it? Impersonate the impersonator. What a bizarre experience. Not everyone gets to be their own imposter. It's hilarious. Good on you for thinking it up, boss. Well, I wasn't lying about them being good. It won't be long before they learn the truth from their superiors and come after us. We shouldn't remain in the city any longer than is needed. Can't hurt to scope out the place first, though, right? I suppose we'll have to make it a brief tour before continuing on for the Maine's mountain path. Does part of scoping out mean inspecting all the restaurants? That's gonna have to wait until next time. Sadly, can't go on another tour. It would be nice to go on another food tour, though, especially in Crossbell. And he's already back in the sea garb? Oh, right! I got the stuff from Jingo. What is it? A farewell gift, apparently. We can fish! What does she think? We're off on a picnic or something? What's a picnic? Haha! You are too darn cute, LP. No point looking a gift horse in the mouth. Let's use it. We'll look like tourists or something. Good for camo. Indeed. I'll leave its use to your discretion. Just try not to stand out too much. Got it. It might be nice to take a breather every now and again. So when Nadia can now fish. Rufus is now in stealth mode. Rufus will move about the city in stealth mode due to the ROM's functionality. Note that when Rufus is the party leader in town, he cannot be seen by others or use shops. Rufus with mask, Rufus shirt. When it says Rufus shirt, do we have his royal apparel? No. Shit. But we can put the mask back on. But I don't care about the mask. I would rather just Rufus.
I shall.
Okay.
How shall we play?
I'll take care of it.
So, we basically don't want to move around. Like that, then.
Very well.
Maybe we just want to move around as we're the doll.
On
That's it. No!
How shall we
I'll
play?
take
Back
care of
to
it.
the
well.
doll! Okay, I don't actually know what they want us to do here. So... We're gonna save over this. And please comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought of the episode, what you think of the series, what you think of the game, what you think of the characters, what you thought of that whole development. That was beautiful. Hope to see you on the next episode, guys. Take care till then, and bye-bye.